Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Brandon, and today I want to talk to you about fixed versus growth mindsets and how they relate to empathy. Let's get into it. So let's just start by defining the two so we can understand how they differentiate from each other. Fixed mindset is one where you would believe that everything is set in stone, nothing has changed. You're born with what you're born with, your talents, your intelligence, your abilities, anything, and that's just how it is. Whereas a growth mindset would argue the opposite of that, where it would say your abilities, your talents, anything like that can be learned or developed. So essentially, they're just polar opposites of each other, right? Like the fixed is, you have what you have and nothing's changing, and the growth is you have what you have, but I mean, anything can change. You can learn or do anything you want as long as you put your mind in it and give it the effort that it takes, and you can learn anything. So let's talk about Shumanzaki and Dweck. These are researchers that looked at the differences between fixed and growth mindset people. Now, they ran 7 studies, and these studies range from anything to talking to somebody with different political views, all the way to helping cancer patients. And so their whole point of this was to see how the fixed versus growth mindset people reacted to these challenging emotional situations, these challenging empathetic situations. And one thing to note is that in their study, they actually noted that apparently it's a belief that a lot of people think that empathy just comes as second nature to us humans, that it's just off this, we can do it naturally, like we can just do it whenever we want. But that's not actually the case. So what they wanted to see was, how does a fixed mindset where somebody that believes that nothing can change versus a growth mindset where somebody believes that everything can change, how would they deal with these emotional situations, these challenging empathetic situations? And what they found that it came down to was motivation and ability overall. That the growth mindset people were just more effective, and they could just empathize with the groups better because they were willing to put in the effort, they were willing to enhance their abilities and get better all the time, even though they probably, they weren't experts, but they were willing to work at it and work at it, and they were willing to take the perspective of these other people and understand their hardships and where they were coming from, and they were able to just empathize with them and just create an overall better experience and just be more empathetic. So this can kind of just show us that motivation and ability and a growth mindset can also help us in our everyday lives to be more empathetic people. So what does this mean? Well, what are we getting at here? What does what I'm saying mean to you? Well, it means that mindset matters. If you have a fixed mindset, then you're really going to struggle because you're never going to think that anything can change. And say you want to be more empathetic. Well, if you have a fixed mindset, you're not going to be more empathetic because you're not going to be willing to make that effort. You're not going to be willing to put in the effort to make that change. So mindset matters. Let's get that. That's the number one. Mindset matters. Also, anything can be learned. Anything at all can be learned. And now we're talking about empathy here. So empathy is the biggest key. You can learn it. You just have to put the effort in, and you will be able to take the perspective of others. You will be able to empathize with other people. You will. But this can also go to just your daily, life in general. You can learn how to play the piano. You can learn how to play the guitar. Anything can be learned. You just have to believe it. And I know that sounds corny, but hey, it's true. I'm telling you, it's true. Third, motivation and ability. Now, I think we've talked about this in our class, but motivation and ability is key. You have to be motivated and you have to have the ability to follow that motivation and to just go for it. No matter what it is, specifically empathy, you just have to be willing to ride with it, to be able to understand people, to just go in there into any situation, whether it's a cancer patient or whether it's just your friend that you're having a disagreement with. You have to be willing to go in there and understand them and get better at understanding them, and just so you can just interact with them and understand them and avoid situations where you might cause conflict, or just to understand somebody's pain and help them out. And lastly, real world applications, like we talked about with all of these. Growth mindset versus fixed mindset. A growth mindset, you can apply this to your everyday life. I guarantee it. So thank you all. That is all I had for you. I really appreciate it. Bye, everyone.